Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther the Third.
Hello there, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm Joe Panther the Third, and today, Ringside crew, you are in for a treat. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside podcast for my guest today. Welcome.
It's me. Hello.
Awesome. So you're here. Let's go.
Let's go.
You do a lot of fun stuff. What is like? If you want to explain to my audience, what do you do within the wrestling world? What is your?
I'm doing socials. Right. Yeah. Now I can explain stuff. Right. So I have trained, but that is not what I currently do within wrestling. My main thing is I work backstage. So at Sovereign Pro Wrestling, I am event crew coordinator, so I help to put people in places, and so I'm helping to set up the ring, helping to set up the entranceway, helping to set up the lighting, the staging, make sure we've got people for any big moments that are coming up to make sure that the crowd and the fans are safe, and so are the wrestlers, and then we take it all down at the end, and that's what we do. We are essentially the stagehands. That's what we do, and I do crew for 4 different promotions, one in which I run crew for, which is Sovereign Pro Wrestling in Manchester. I crew for Off the Page in Warrington. I crew for Tidal Wrestling in Huddersfield in Yorkshire, and Wrestle Island in Birkenhead, which is basically on the outskirts of Liverpool. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what I do.
Wow. There's a lot of fans that never get a chance to experience that big thing you do for putting that ring together. Is it difficult to do? I know it's like Legos. You have to remember every part and where everything goes and everything.
So people don't really, they notice us, but they don't really. We're not really supposed to. We're meant to be like the ghosts in a way. we're there, but we're not the show. But we are essential to the show at the same time, because even though a lot of the wrestlers will help with the setup and stuff, it's us who are the primary ones who set all that up. So for instance, I'll give you a run through of South Pro because it's easier. So we get up, I have to get up at 8:30 to get there for 10, because even though I am in Manchester, I'm on the other end of Manchester, so I have to get the bus down there, and then I get there for 10 o'clock in the morning, and then we have the lighting and staging turn up first, which is Simon's. Simon used to work for Defiant Wrestling, which a lot of UK people will remember as being WCPW at one point, What Culture Pro Wrestling. They work with them, so he comes down with and brings all his stuff. So we help set that up. We will set up the chairs and make sure the chairs are in order, and then the ring will come to us around about 11, 12 o'clock, and then we have to set up the ring as well. So that's quite a jigsaw in itself. So you have to set up you have to take it all out of the van. We'll have the metal framing, which is your bottom. Then you have to put on the wooden boards. So if you've ever seen moments where they've stripped back the boards and then you take up the canvas and they'll take up the foam, because this foam tends to be underneath. Different people use different things. Some people use the jigsaw stuff that people sometimes use on mats in gyms and stuff like that. But majority of the time you'll get these big long rolls of foam, and they'll put that on and they'll put the canvas on, and then we have to set up the ropes and yeah. And then the show time will get doors at 3 o'clock. Before that, we'll also get a meeting from Greenwood, who is our producer on Soft Pro, but he is also one of the head referees. At most promotions within the UK, he's like, everyone knows Greenwood, even has his own chant. And he will give us a meeting, tell us what's going on, tell us what's happening, let us know what's up with the run sheet. So the run sheet is basically order of matches, etc., and what's going to happen within those matches, because predetermined. Yeah. Not fake, predetermined.
Yeah, wrestling is a crazy world, man. You know what I mean?
Wrestling's mental.
Crazy to like set up. You guys set up the ring and take it down like every.
So that's just literally before the show that I've told you about. Then 3:00 we've got doors. Then 4:00 the show starts, and then during the show we'll have people make sure that if the action spills out into the crowd, then we're following that and make sure that people are back and stuff like that. Prepare for any catch spots. So if a wrestler dives out of the ring and we can catch them and cushion them, we can fall out. And then after the show, we have to take the ring down, take the staging down, and we can be out for anywhere between 9 and 10 o'clock at night, even though we start at 10 o'clock in the morning. So that's an 11-hour day. And that's a promotion.
Do you ever have to like bring if you have to be in the arena early to get the ring subs, you ever have to bring like a breakfast with you, lunch and a dinner, like the whole day meal?
Well, most of the time, we're quite lucky that there is a shop down the road most of the time. So we just end up going there if we need to. But I tend to bring, so a lot of these places, there's a lot of, little news agents or off licenses or whatever that will sell, little chicken bites and stuff for £1. So I'll normally get a packet of them, a packet of Oreos, and a big bottle of Lucozade for £2. And that's my thing for the day.
Wow.
I can eat better than that, but I need something that's quick because we only get 20 minutes, something like that, sometimes in between stuff, and then we'll have to be back on it. So, yeah, no, because the wrestlers will come in, but the wrestlers tend to come in about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. They'll do their, practicing and rehearsing and anything like that, and then go into the ring when it's their time for their match and stuff like that. Whereas we're literally in there from morning till night, getting it taken down and set up and everything.
Do you get a chance? Do you set up the chairs too, or just the ring?
We do. We set up the chairs as well, seating.
So, is there a certain chart that they give you for the ring, and then where all the chairs are supposed to be and stuff like that?
So sometimes, say at Tidal, because at Tidal they have a front row, a second row, and they know where they want their people seated. She'll normally Taj, who runs it, lovely, love Taj. She will give us a rundown of where she wants everybody and organise where she wants all the seats and stuff. At Soft Pro, we literally have a floor plan, which we have to adhere to, where everything's set up. So because it's in a gym, we've got the bleachers that get set up, and then we have the chairs that are set up around the ring. And we'll have a certain order that we have to set those up so that we don't end up clashing with other stuff that's getting set up. So, yeah, it's a whole thing. And it's all hands on deck. All hands on deck.
I can imagine, you guys must go crazy before that show, before those doors open, before the fans line up. You guys are in that room, like the in NASCAR, how they have those people that the car pulls off. It's like zzz, zzz, zzz.
That's those way the pit crew. Or the ring trollers who once had a joke about.
I could see you come by now you can tell your friends, Joe Panther III said, "We are the pit crew."
We are the pit crew. The crew.
The wrestling ring is that car that comes through, and you're just like, ding.
It's a lot of work, man. But it's worth it because you still. How do I put this? It's nice to still be a part of the show and know that you are helping to put on something special for the people who are coming. And just because you're not a star doesn't mean you're not an important part of what's happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
it's cool that we're able to help that happen and help it happen safely and be a part of that. And that's really that means a lot to me because I don't get me wrong, right? The dream was always to be a wrestler. Always been to be a wrestler, but at the moment, I've been through a lot. So I went through 8 jobs last year in 1 year. That was a hell of a year. But I've been on the rebuild since then. So while I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do, because I'm looking at getting into announcing, I'm looking at You know, any way I can be a part of it, I want to be a part of it because you said I could swear, didn't you? I fucking love wrestling. I fucking love wrestling. I have loved wrestling since I was 14. Just to make that clear how long that is, I am 34 years old now. So it's 20 years of fucking loving wrestling. And any way in which I can be a part of it, I'm happy to be a part of it because I love it. I love it with every piece of me.
Wrestling is important to people. Like, some people think that wrestling is just like, it's just a part-time thing. Like, there's some people that absolutely live, breathe, eat, sleep wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't censor myself, but you know, they everything is wrestling. You know, like, I work in a place that a lot of people don't like wrestling, and all they do is watch sports. And I'm just like, oh, Joe, did you see the Yankee game yesterday? I'm just like, yeah.
I always hate when people call it fake.
I get so mad. I get so mad.
Have you ever been to a film, right? To these people, have you ever been to an action film, right? Walked out of it after some sick ass action scenes and gone, well, that was fake, wasn't it? Of course it fucking was, but it was amazing and you loved the journey, and that is why you're there, and that is wrestling as well. That is exactly what wrestling is. It's an action movie that is put on for you live.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it is. Wrestling for us is different for what the fans that don't really, ultimately, they don't understand. We see it in a different way. We know it's fake, but we don't say it. It's our play. It's our movie. It's funny. For me, wrestling, some wrestlers, to me, is like watching Ernest P World or watching Dude, Where's My Car?
I'm a massive Marvel fan and you know, comic movie and stuff like that, but the books as well. But if we're just going off like the movie stuff, I love that stuff. And I grew up with Dragon Ball Z and Power Rangers and all that. 90s kid, right here. And all that, I've never loved it. And that's the same with wrestling. Wrestling is exactly the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
This is why I hate it. It's like, it's not fake. It's an action movie. It's choreographs don't work.
Yeah, I hate when people have to knock it.
It's a performance art. It's theater.
Yeah, it's like that is our play. Like the theater rats that go to the play, go see. Here we go. Sassy Chica's gonna get mad at me when she sees me. She's gonna punch me in the arm. Sorry, sis. Wrestling is our version of going to see Rent 5,000 times. Or seeing freaking West Side Story, or seeing all these little freaking plays that everybody loves seeing. But then ours is going to, like me, I love the indie. Hashtag support independent wrestling. Doesn't matter. Global. Hashtag new one. Hashtag global independent wrestling. Support everybody. If you're in America, just like tell my American
global
fans.
Independent wrestling, not global force wrestling. Global independent wrestling.
Yeah, global independent wrestling, not the big boys, the normal one. So like, if an American wrestling fan wants to be able to check out some of the content that you guys bring out, is there a YouTube channel or like anything?
Oh, well, a lot of promotions tend to have their own. Some go through on-demand services. So Progress, for instance, Progress is Progress on Demand, but they've recently started putting more promotions on there. There's also, I think Real Wrestling still has their network. They have different promotions on there as well. Soft Pro, we're on YouTube. Tidal, we're gonna be on YouTube. We're working on that at the moment. Just years of content. So it's just looking on that. Just search it on YouTube.
Imagine that one guy that has to put the guy through all that stuff. I mean, he just has to sit and just load all day long, and he has to sit there. I'd cry. I would be happy.
So the editor is the guy most people will see. He's got glasses and stuff like that, and you'll see him filming a lot of shows, and he does a lot of the editing, hence the name the editor. And he works loads of promotion, and he's just editing all the time. Lovely lad, cracking guy, and his work is brilliant. But yeah, he's just always editing the stuff, constantly working with multiple promotions. Photographers as well. There's another one called Tony Knox. He's like the most famous of the British wrestling photographers. He's done pretty much every British wrestler's promo photos. And he's worked everything. I think he's been around for like 15, 20 years, maybe longer, doing all this at almost every promotion imaginable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, let's go into it. Because you mentioned, it touched my heart even more when you mentioned it back in the day with me when we started talking, and then you said it in your promo. You're a gamer.
I am indeed.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about your big badge of honor you have.
My record setting, which I don't have a trophy for, but I had the speed run for it. So I decided that because I'm not the fastest at games, but I am, I like a challenge, very much so. And I decided what I would start doing is looking for speed runs that nobody had ever set before and be the person who set them. Because you don't have a time to adhere to, you create the first time. So I went through the speedrun directory and I went through and went, right, cool. So I set the record for WWE 13 any percent. I set the record for WWE 2K14 any percent. This is the story mode. And then, so a few different creators had to go at this. Macho T had to go at this. I believe King Kitten had to go at this, and different content creators had to go at doing Defend the Streak, because Defeat the Streak was really popular for a while. Because Macho T did it, and he's a wrestling gaming content creator, and he had to go at it, and he set a really high score, and then everybody started trying to beat it, and I ended up getting 5th in the world. I was 3rd at one point and got 5th. Speedrun is your official thing, by the way. It's if it's on there, it's the legit thing, because they go through a process where they look through it and they make sure that it's the real deal, because you have to send them the highlight of the clip to show them so they can check you've met all the criteria for it. And I decided to have a go at Defend the Streak, which is 2K14. Again, it's the opposite end of Defeat the Streak, whereas instead of playing the person who has to beat the Undertaker, you are the Undertaker having to beat 100 opponents.
Oh my God.
Where it gets harder and harder and harder as you go through.
Oh God.
And I beat it, and I'm the only person to beat it. I beat it in an hour and a half. That's the length of the speed run.
I think there's no pause button, right? They didn't have the pause button on it, did they?
If you pause, there's only one reason that you can pause, and that is if you need to go to the loo. That's kind of allowed. And if it's a long game, I think it has to be over a certain amount of time or something like that. But ideally, no, because it can reset the thing, so you have to start again. So yeah, I beat that, and I am the only person to beat that. And as far as I'm aware, I've not checked for a little while, I am still the only person to have beat it. And that video currently sits at 3.5K views on YouTube.
Imagine that. Imagine that they email you saying you are officially all time, nobody's beaten it, and you're like
I lost my mind. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Did they email you, or they just sent you something in the mail? Like, how'd you?
No, you just wait for your speedrun verification. You send off the video, and then you just basically waiting for it to go. Yeah, speedrun verified. It's like.
So do you feel? I guess you felt like from what's his name, SpongeBob. 2 days later.
Yeah. I kept posting going, I'm waiting for this. Come on, please. It took an hour. Sorry, it took an hour and a half to do the actual speedrun, but in total, trying to do it and having to reset and restart took me a 24-hour recording in total.
Oh God.
Over like 3 days. Trying to edit that into an hour was a nightmare, especially on this laptop.
Oh God.
And then the any percents. So you had to win every match to be able to class it as a full run, to complete the run. If you lost a match, you had to restart from the very first match of the story mode again. So there was one really, really funny one where I think it was a W13 one. The famous match, everybody knows this match, where Undertaker throws Mankind off the top of the cage.
Yes. The famous Hell in a Cell. Yeah.
The very famous Hell in a Cell match. Right. At the beginning, they start you really, really close to each other.
Yeah.
And Foley kept throwing me off because you're playing as Taker.
Oh, geez.
And when it did that, not only did it crash the game, it crashed my entire console where I had to turn it back on at the wall.
How did it crash your console? Like, whoa, that's weird.
It was wild.
You broke the history, like on Back to the Future. Marty, you're gonna break the time continuum.
That's
history.
My people in the chat were all going, "She's done it! She's broken time."
Foley is that Mick Foley killed the Undertaker. There will never be a Ministry of Darkness. There'll never be a Hall of Fame speech. You broke the Undertaker forever.
This happened twice.
Oh
this happened twice. It was insane. I was like, because this is when I had my OBS working, and I was sat there going, I don't know what's going. It's broken. It's crashed. What? And then I ran over, and then I tried to go to the homepage. It's like, oh no, it's completely crashed the console. So there's a video of me running around and then turning it on and off at the wall, and then sitting down, going, so folks, I've just had to completely reset my console.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. That's horrible.
So this match is like right near the end as well, because it's about 8 matches from the end.
Oh my gosh.
So I've done like 20 odd matches before that.
What did your fans say in the chat? Were they like freaking out? Like, oh my God, she broke history or something like that?
That was it. They were going like, she's broken time. She's broken time again. She's ruined it. Oh my God.
I would have wrote Doc Brown was right. Doc Brown was right.
Honestly.
That's crazy.
Absolutely
That's crazy.
Absolutely mental. But yeah, no, that's that the defending streak is very much my proudest thing. Although there was something else I was working on in that, which was for a little while. I was also I got 2K22 and I started making Brit Rest in 2K22. Creations from scratch, everything, how they look, their entrances and their things. And I ended up trying to make it into something, but I could not work out how to do the movesets because the movesets were a pain to work out.
Oh yeah. They're in the butt.
Yeah. So I eventually worked it out, and then people were like, why isn't this in 2K23? Because 2K23 came out by the time I figured out how to do it properly. And I was like, because I can't get 2K23. But now I have 2K24. So Brit Rest does 2K24. We'll be back.
Is there any games in there? I know there's storyline mode, but I don't know if there's like a career. Is there career mode still in it?
There is. It's WrestleMania. They've gone back to the WrestleMania stuff. I just hope they don't do what they did with 14. So with 14, 25 to 30 was not in it.
Wow.
I believe mostly because a certain redacted person was in it. But they also kind of took out Eddie story out of that as well by doing that, which was gut-wrenching.
Yeah, Eddie and or Angle. That's the match that they never like really talked about. I would have definitely brought up that match because I was at that Mania. I was at WrestleMania 20. Where I have to totally lie through my teeth to other wrestling fans. And they do this to me, Joe. Wasn't there a main event? And they think it's gonna get me a flag on YouTube. They're like, Joe, wasn't there a match that was at a certain match that was at the show? And I was like, yeah. Like that dog on Instagram, a TikTok dog. Huh? Yeah, we got you a snack, but we ate it. Oh, what? I'm like, there was a match. There was a certain triple threat main event. Who was in that main event, Joe? And I'm just like,
redacted.
You know what the fuck match that is. You don't have to give me and it's non-wrestling fan doing this to me. And I'm like,
yeah, I know. There's no need. But there's still other matches within that era that were not including him. Yeah. And you still got Eddie. Eddie did so much during that time. Andre, and because I got into it Like, I got into wrestling, right? So I didn't have Sky Sports. Sky Sports is what like Raw and that lot was screened on in the UK. But I didn't have that, so I only had free like digital cable, over here. So I got to watch SmackDown on because they screened it free on Sky One in the mornings. And it was my first time, and I saw Eddie Guerrero and instantly fell in love, and that was how I got into wrestling. And it was
Eddie's
just before WrestleMania 20. Just before WrestleMania 20.
Mm.
And yeah, no, having that, there's so much stuff that happened during that time, not just him.
Anything. Crazy.
I haven't been through the story mode yet, but I am hoping that it is included, because not necessarily the redacted, but the other stuff, because there's plenty of other matches that can be noted, and I really hope that they're actually going to cover that stuff.
Yeah, I just hope that, because one day we will definitely get ourselves something out of that match, because someday in history Triple H has to be able to go. Because me and my buddy watched the Dark Side of the Ring. Did you ever watch Dark Side of the Ring?
I've not watched a lot of it. I've seen little clips and stuff like that.
You should definitely, if you have Hulu, you should definitely watch it. It's a good series, a lot of good shows. I had a friend of mine. He watches the show every once in a while. But what's going on, Hector? Hector does not watch wrestling. Shame. But he's a good guy. He's funny. You like Hector. He looks like the Spanish Tom Cruise. And he wears the black glasses. And I said, Hector, let's watch. And he's like, okay, I don't really watch wrestling, but I like watching like series about certain things. So we sat and watched it, and he got to the episode 1 of the Benoit story, and he just did this. And I'm like, let me push play for the next episode. He goes, hold on, I need a moment. Oh my God. That was horrible. Please skip and go to the next episode. I can't handle that. I can't handle it. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. Hey.
Mike. Hello, Mike. If he's wondering why it's called Wrestle Snaps, he's been taking photos and look, man, really, really good. He's not like professional, but like some of his photos are like really, really good, and he's just set up like an Instagram page for it. That's why it's called Wrestle Snaps. But yeah, that's Mike and his
Wrestle Snobs. Don't forget to subscribe, Wrestle Snobs, to the Joe Panther Variety Show. You can check out more episodes of Dudes at Ringside Podcast. If you're not already on Facebook, give us a nice follow under the real Dudes at Ringside Podcast. Even though it's not really with the thing we always talk about, and it's on Twitch. The Ghost Head Nerd Talk. That is my other podcast I do with my buddies Rain and my buddy Valerie Val, SoCal Val, but Buster Val. It's just SoCal Val. No, she's
SoCal Val she does commentary for Progress.
She's I've been dying to have her on. Subscribe. Thank you. Yes.
Oh.
I definitely would like to have more of the people from your promotion. There's a lot of people that I've been eyeballing from the UK that I've messaged in the past and haven't really heard anything, and been dying to get some of it. Hey, welcome another one. Hey, what's up?
Nick, hey! And Nemi is me, and because I have a lot of people who nickname me Nemi because they think it sounds cuter than Nemesis, which is fair. And Freya is Nick's daughter, so hello, Freya.
Don't forget to subscribe. I'm waving like we're looking in a plane. Like, hi. It's like, it's funny when you're on like this and you're watching Twitch, because I know a lot of people have like webcam. There's a girl I watch on Twitch. She's a gamer. She's funny. She has like one here, and so she's dancing and she's turning, and then the camera's like here, and then it shows 3 shots, and I'm like, I want to be where all the cool people are, but I can never be there because I don't have that much money. Pay me. I'm not monetized. This is just, I do this for the love like you. I do this because I love wrestling.
Yeah.
And I really hope that people understand. I don't just do this to get views and just to, I want to interview them. My bobblehead's bobbing. Not me. The one I have of my grandfather that I found at GameStop. I found this one looks like my grandfather.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so I do this because I love helping independent wrestlers. I love helping promotions that are not from the States get a fan. Like you'll meet you as soon as you send me your the YouTube channel and it's created, I'm in. I'm gonna be like, hey, what's up? Awesome show. I do this to help. And I love when people ask me to do their shows and I'm like, well, if it's in the States, you can leave me tickets, I'll come. Like I'll promote, I'll announce, I'll hand out flyers for you, whatever, Yeah.
Speaking of being a fan, there's something that you have seen that I have made that I am going to show you. I'm going to give me 2 minutes and I'll go and grab it.
Okay, cool.
You know what I'm talking about?
Think so.
Hang on.
Okay.
Keep it busy.
Well, fans, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Joe Panther Variety Show on YouTube. And I have some episodes coming up. I have one coming up when Miss Summers on the 9th is going to be loading live at 4:30 a.m. U.S. time. I know American fans are like, Joe, you're insane. 4:30 in the morning. You don't have to watch it live. You can watch it later on. But tell your friends. Remember, don't forget to follow us on Instagram under the Dudes at Ringside podcast. Subscribe on YouTube under the Joe Panther Variety Show. Remember, look for the red glasses. There's a playlist there. You could watch all the episodes and have fun and just chill. And also, don't forget to go on Facebook and give us a nice follow on Facebook under the Real Dudes at Ringside. It really helps me a lot. And please send this episode to all your friends right now if you want to watch live. And just come in and hang out, ask questions, just chill. I like talking about video games, sports. And if you didn't see my friend that makes things, she made me a beautiful little Joe Panther. I'm not wearing the right shirt today, but there we go. Here he is.
I found it. Right, hang on. Wait.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Ooh.
So, the other thing I have a habit of sometimes doing in wrestling, there is just my arm. This is not for sale. This was, but I don't know if she's got any at the moment. The other thing I do is I sometimes do graphic design. And I am the person who designed this.
I love that.
This is the Lizzie Evo LFC style shirt. It was meant to be red, but she did it in black and white, which is fair. But yes, I designed this. I've got other little ones I've designed that are on my Instagram, but this is the first one that got turned into merch.
I love that.
So, yeah, and I have not told her this, but I'm going to say
That's a badass t-shirt. It is.
I made that design in half an hour on a bus.
On a bus? I'd be bumping into things.
So I use things like Adobe Express and Sketch and stuff like that. And I just threw it all together in like half an hour. And there was, I have Miles to tell a story, but I don't think there's any reason why not. I did make a piece for Progress that never ended up getting released. So it was a Bulldog in the middle of the Progress logo that was meant to be for Bulldog Jr.'s ring jacket. Unfortunately, the ring jackets did not turn up before the show, so it didn't get released. There is another Bulldog design shirt that's come out, but that's not my design, that's somebody else's. But as for the actual ring jacket, the ring jackets didn't turn up on time, so it never happened. But it is out there somewhere. So but that was that nearly happened. Gutted that it didn't end up getting onto the actual show. But, but it's nice that they were that interested in it, which is really cool.
It's cool to think that like you have your fingerprints on people's merch like that. Have you ever thought of like doing that on like when wrestling starts getting kind of tough on you, like go and do the merch, do the designing side of it?
I need people to want them. That's more about demand. I just put that stuff out there. If they want it, they can have it, because wrestling's not cheap.
No.
And not even from a fan perspective to actually do. Because something that a lot of people don't think about. Sorry, my pod silences are playing up. Because it's just really hot at the minute. But you've got... Oh, I'm so sorry. Right, I'm good. Right, so we've got the cost of the training you have the cost of getting to training, you have the cost of like gyms and stuff like that, you have the cost of sorting out your food, you have the cost of getting to other shows just to visit and network. You got to pay for your merch, you got to pay for your designers, you got to pay for all that. There's a lot of investment that goes into it just from themselves. And that's before you can even start getting a booking. There is a lot of investment that goes into wrestling. Like I said, it's one of the reasons why I've struggled to make it a consistent thing, because it's not necessarily the most expensive thing in the world, but it adds up. The amount that you, not just emotionally and mentally, but financially invest into it. So I nearly went to train at, so GYV, Grizzled Young Veterans, used to have a training thing in Liverpool. And I nearly went there. I literally to the point where I ended up talking to them and got put in the chat and everything. But it didn't end up happening. And it didn't end up happening because not only was it the price of the actual training, it would have been the price of the train and the bus to get to where they were located. So it would have cost me £180 a month just for one session a week. And that's including the price of travel as well. It's insane. Wow. Yeah. So it does. So one of the good things is if you manage to make it, if and when you manage to make it on shows, you can reclaim some of that back, which is, you know, your booking costs and your merchandise sales and stuff like that. Merchandise will always be your biggest way of making money, though, because bookings pay, but it's the same with like musicians and bands and stuff. They'll always make the majority of their money from people going to the concerts, people buying the merchandise, all that, those kind of royalties and those kind of things. That's where most of your money will come from. So you can make the money back, but it's a huge investment from the start. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. It just means that it's just something to be aware of before you start. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I get you. It's difficult. It's like as I say, people think that I do this, that I get so much from it. Only thing I'm getting from it is a internet view. I'm not getting paid. I don't get paid to do my interviews, and most importantly, I don't pay for interviews. I do them for the love of professional wrestling, and I do it to put the name of my grandfather out there so people know about Jose Quinones, the Panther, which wrestled from 1955 to 1965. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a family generational thing. That's for me. That's what it is.
The Panther. I feel like I've heard of him.
Yes, he wrestled under Vince's dad, and he was best friends with Haystacks Calhoun. That was my grandfather's best friend.
Wow,
that was his running buddy. Like, his traveling. You know, people have traveling friends. That was the one he traveled with. Even though Haystacks was a big boy, he was a big guy. Like,
you don't get called Haystacks for nothing.
Yeah, wouldn't want that guy landing on my head and be like, my head would pop off like the pop doll. Boop, boop, boop. Remember Joe? He died yesterday. He got his head squashed by Haystacks. Joe's pop got his head flattened. Like, didn't turn his neck the right way.
Oh, wow. We're going dark.
Dark side of the ring moment. Those green turns gray and shows Joe didn't turn his neck the right way.
Always tuck your head. Unless you do the Stars Clash, then you do it the other way.
Oh, geez. Like, so
you
when
do that.
When you're backstage, do you find it difficult or easy to be able to coordinate these wrestlers that are just so, sometimes they can be like stubborn puppies at dinner time?
So I don't coordinate the wrestlers, I coordinate the crew.
The crew, okay.
There can be wrestlers in the crew, but majority of the time it's like, depends. Some are wrestlers who come in to help out. Some are ones who are trainees who just come in to help out. Some are, it can be a arrangement of stuff. Some of them are a little bit stubborn. Sometimes it's like herding cats. Sometimes it's dead easy and people are just like, yep, on it, cool, you know, boom, let's go. But some of them are just like, it's like, no, come on, show to do, let's go. Now,
no talking to all the girl wrestlers, got to go.
Yes, things are happening. Let's make them happen.
Yes.
So yeah, sometimes it's dead easy, and sometimes it's like herding cats. It has its ups and downs. Sometimes you just gotta be on it like all the time. Like I've missed half of shows because I'm busy running around making sure that everybody's where they need to be.
You pretty much look like the old phone lady from back in the 50s. The plug.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
one of the interesting ones as well that I did was I've done timekeeping for one of the refs. That was interesting because I ended up educating a mate at a screening recently because I said, I said, the timing starts from the entrances. And he went, no, it doesn't. It's like, yeah, it does.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, your timing for the match does not start when the bell rings. The timing for the match starts when that first person makes their entrance.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that. I didn't realize that, to be fair. I thought when the bell rang, that was game time. But it's not. It is literally once a person walks out the curtain, your first entrant comes out the curtain, that's when the timer starts. I was like, oh, cool. Did not know that. By the way, all your big promotions still have timekeepers. A lot of them are sat by the ring, not by the ring, by the announce table or the commentary table. You'll see you'll sometimes see a little corner where somebody will go over and get the ring bell, and you'll sometimes see a dude sat next to the ring bell. Well, the dude sat next to the ring bell is your dude doing the timekeeping, and they are communicating to the referees and telling them how much time there is. Because there's only wearing an earpiece.
I find it like so cool that like you coordinate all that stuff from getting the chairs set up and make sure everything's in the right row. Is there like, I know some shows they have certain levels of seating. Like if you're second row, you just get like a poster. Do you have to put like the posters on the chairs, like if it's a certain like show and stuff like that also?
So Wrestle Island and Tidal, they both have your first row, your second row, and then your back row. Sometimes they have posters, sometimes they don't. Yes, you would have to put out the posters, but most of the time we get a list of who's going to be sat where, and then we also have to coordinate where the people are going. So we'll have to put the names on seats and make sure everyone's in the right place, as well as direct people to make sure they're getting on their right seats and stuff like that. So Soft Pro is front row. I think, we don't know if we've got second row, but we sometimes have to coordinate that, but we haven't got a naming system yet. We're working certain things out. We're right. So the company itself has been around for 2 years because it's got its anniversary show in around about October, Third Reign coming up. It's called Third Reign because its first ever show was called First Reign. Then its first anniversary show was called Second Reign, and then its latest one is going to be called Third Reign, and that should be dropping around about October. We're looking at dates. We pretty much have a confirmed date, but we're still double checking that that's the date we officially want. But October seems to be the date that we're aiming at. And we don't really. We're still learning stuff and picking up. So I didn't end up becoming crew coordinator until I think it was June this year, because I got invited to one show, and they were impressed with me, so they invited me back for a second show, and then they ended up messaging me while I was in London, just after I've been there for the Tidal London show. We've also got another Tidal London show coming up on October 19th. That is happening.
Oh, wow.
And that I got a message just after that going, hey, do you fancy working for Soft Pro full time? I was like, tell me more. And then they just went, do you want to, because Lou is like higher up, because it's Lou and Shotty who run Soft Pro, and Lou is like my direct higher up because he's still head of crew, but he's put me on coordination because he has got a lot of stuff to do with production and other stuff while the show's going on, because everybody's a cog in the wheel. Everybody's a cog in the wheel. That cog spins a lot better if everybody's in it. Do you know what I mean? So the talent, your backstage stuff, your production, your cameramen, your photographers, everything. It's all important. It all matters. Your ring crew, everything. That show doesn't function without everybody. It doesn't. It's not as much as the wrestlers are important and who you're going to see. They are just as important as everybody else is around them.
Yeah,
Because
pretty much.
the cog doesn't turn without all the components. And yeah, no, he brought me in to do that because he has a lot of stuff to do like while it's going on, and it was easier to put me in charge of that, so that way I could focus on the crew and he can focus on what everything else he needs to do. So yeah,
I had an idea for you guys for like a show. Like, you said they do the posters like second row. You should try to do like front row should be like you can get like a t-shirt. Like if you get a certain package, the front row seat, you can get a t-shirt.
I think we've talked about that at Tidal. We would do it at one point. We were selling tickets where you could get a t-shirt as well as the ticket and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one, Mike. See you at the next one.
Yeah, I remember I went to a show that I didn't get the front row. I got the second row and I got a poster. But they had the front row. Oh, I did get front row. I got a poster because I was front row seat because my mom bought the certain ticket. But when I went to the 80s con, I didn't get that package and it came with a t-shirt. The seat came with a t-shirt and everything. The whole front row area, it was just 2 rows and they all got the t-shirt. I was kind of sad. I was like, man, couldn't break for like $100. I'm just kidding.
Tidal's still selling these t-shirts. This is one Tidal t-shirt, which is really cool.
That's a nice one.
That's this. There you go.
Oh, cool.
It is.
Like has a Back to the Future look to it with the clock tower.
And then this is the Les Battersby World Order, because we were talking about this, but I don't know if you know who Les Battersby is. Do you know who Les Battersby is? No. Have you ever heard of the soap called Coronation Street?
Sounds familiar.
Right, so he's from the soap Coronation Street. He is a character from the soap Coronation Street, who is now leading a version of the NWO called the LBWO. It's weird when it's backwards in the camera. And basically, yeah, there's that. And then you got Butcher Club run by Ashley Peacock, who's another character from Coronation Street. And we've currently got a new character now who's set up something called the Wool Pack, which is got a character called Kane Dingle in it, Kane Dingle was a character in Emmerdale. And Kane Dingle looks like Kane, as in Kane Dingle.
Oh, jeez.
I'm so pro. It's beautiful and it's mad all at the same time. Tidal is amazing too. Literally, like every single promotion that I'm working for, I love every single one of them. OCP, off the page, got a show coming up on the 10th of August. This week. We could also OTP is also going to be raising money for the Mermaids Foundation, and I think it's African Youth Foundation as well. After all the riots we've had recently in the UK, which I'm not going to go into it, but it sucks. There's no need for any of that. If you've seen the news, you know what it is. So it's brilliant that Off the Page is doing that. Tidal, we've got a show coming up on the 1st of September. We've got a different host for every single show, and we've got Ace hosting this one. Ace Matthews. Ace is brilliant. We've also got Busick versus Nathan Cruz and a bunch of others, and that's going to be
Nathan Cruz. Wow.
Yeah. So arguably, he's the guy who gave me my first spot on the show. Because I did my first 2 pull aparts last month. You know, to pull apart wrestlers when they're like fighting each other. And yeah, while we pulled apart, and then he shoved me, which might not sound like much, but it technically counts as my first spot, so I'm taking it.
Oh, jeez.
I love
like bragging Nathan Cruz, he gave me my first spot. Got my first victory.
I love Nathan Cruz. So Nathan Cruz is brilliant. He also did a YouTube channel that not a lot of people know exists. Right? He had a YouTube channel called Inside the Toy Room, which I think he did during like lockdown and stuff, where he's just talking about like Batman figures and stuff like that, and it's sick.
WWE is weird about that. Like, if you get famous with WWE, your channel has to go away. I think that's stupid.
So it's interesting how that works, because like they're a bit more funny about Twitch than they are about YouTube and stuff.
I wonder why. Because the money thing?
I don't. Well, So Up, Up, Down, Down's an interesting one for that, because Up, Up, Down, Down was originally meant to be a network show.
Yeah.
And then they decided that like they weren't really going to run with it. And then Xavier basically went, "Can I keep this going?" And he went, "Yeah, sure." So he just kept it going through his YouTube. So Up, Up, Down, Down is literally Austin Creed's YouTube channel.
Yeah. I remember when they were doing it, when they had all the other wrestlers joining them and they were playing the street.
I loved that. Right. I know they've got it a bit more like fancy dancy now, but I loved the backstage bit where they're having like interviews backstage while they were just playing games together, and they'd have like tournaments and stuff, and you'd have like Rusev,
remember Big Show jumping
in, and well, Neville back then, but Pac come back in, and yeah, no, it was really fun. And they had the FIFA tournaments, and they had the Street Fighter stuff, and that was mint. I love that stuff.
That was so cool. I just think it's cool that WWE does that with the rest. Like, they didn't get mad about that. But then the other stuff, it's like, okay, no, can't do that. Like,
I mean, Dakota Kai's been able to put her Twitch back up, which is pretty cool. Because she's got a Twitch channel, and then some of them, I think they're loosening it now, but they were much more funnier about it.
I think it was Vince. That had that man with the V in his name, VM. Like, I think he really had a strong grip on the other social media stuff that people were doing.
I think I don't want to comment on Vince because I really don't like him.
Me neither. It pisses me off even saying his name.
That being said, right? Do I agree with that special everything that's come out? No, not one bit. But I still thank him, and the reason why I still thank him is because WWE tends to be everybody's gateway into wrestling, and it was him and his dad who started it. Yep. So at the end of the day, I do give him credit for that. Because as much as he might have become more of a tyrant towards him, we don't fully know ourselves because we don't know him personally. But from what we've read online, yeah, that's what's been said. But I give him credit where credit's due. If it wasn't for him, he wouldn't have been around the way it is.
My grandfather wouldn't have had a job. Like,
that's
well, maybe he could have been in the indies. There was indie scene back in those days, but it wasn't really too well known.
Like, independence, though, like I always hate when people look down on independence as like the less than. And for me, I've never seen independence as less than. It's the same with like watching a movie and you watch an indie movie. An indie movie isn't less than a Hollywood movie. Just because it's not got as much financial backing doesn't make it less than.
Yeah.
Half of the greatest matches I've ever seen live in my life have been at UK wrestling shows.
Mm-hmm.
And live shows and independent shows. Christ, you'll have probably heard people talk about how good house shows are for WWE. Because they tend to do a bit more like random stuff and things like that because it's not televised. And
yeah,
that's it. Yeah, that's what your independents are. There's a little bit more freedom in there to be able to have not exactly fun, but it's not that WWE and AEW and the bigger ones aren't fun, but there's much more. There tends to be more not strings attached, but like rules, I guess. Whereas with the independents, it's a little bit more freedom, and because there's a little bit more freedom, there's you get much more like special things happen because I say again, there's just more freedom to it. So creatively and physically, they can do a bit more stuff. Is there some stuff that you still got to be more careful with and safeguarding comes in? Absolutely. But there's a lot more stuff that people are more free to do than would be not advised, but more particular about from a televised perspective. And the independents are not less than because they're independents. They are where you're going to find some of your best and most intimate wrestling as well. Because being front row, I'm telling you, man, that's what a fucking experience. You feel like you are in the action. Sometimes you are in the action. Sometimes you'll get more interactions from the wrestlers because they'll be walking past you and they'll be in character and they might give you a shove. They might give you, not hard, obviously, but like they'll interact with you. They'll have a laugh with you. They'll make you feel part of it, and it's great. And you won't get that as much on the big shows. I can hear myself.
Yeah. My screen. It's me trying to move things around. Oh my god! All these screens open in my computer.
Joyce, be the content creator, man.
Yes, I'm the everything with the podcast. I'm the guy that puts the funny stuff on the bottom. I'm the mod on the chat. I don't got anybody else. I don't have a girlfriend that could be like, I'll be your man, Joe. You're like, that's just me. I'm by myself. Oh, by my lonesome. Oh, pants by myself.
Same, but like it's if you can see, if you've seen my logo on my channel, I designed that as well.
I love your logo. Your logo's so
The
cool.
skull with the red dreads.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
mine comes from a guy that does art from Canada. He did the Dudes at Ringside logo, the one you see before the show with the Earth. This one actually. And now I'm going to show it on screen. Everybody's gonna be like, I want a sticker. There you go.
Yeah, get a sticker.
Yes, Joe Alphabet from Canada. He created that logo for me after I went solo for my co-host, and I said I need a logo. He gave me another logo, just me on top like this, and it had a bubble saying "Welcome, hey, hello there, wrestling fans." Because that's my phrase. I swear, I'm gonna copyright that. Hey, hello there, wrestling fans. That's like my phrase. I started it back in the day, and I just tweaked it and kept saying it. And then he took it. I said the next year, I said I need something the list logo is never going to change. He's like, what do you mean? I said, can you put the world behind me, have me pointing? And I gave him a picture of me that I should have gave him one with the polo. And he put me. I sent him the picture of me with the suit jacket. I should have sent him me with the blue polo. And he sent me. I sent him the one with the suit, and he put me in the suit jacket. That's why I'm wearing the suit jacket in the picture instead of just the polo.
Nice.
Yes.
I have one more story for you. So when I was at Tidal, one of the things I did for a brief while was I said when I was at Tidal, I still am at Tidal, but like this was a couple of months ago when I did sound for Tidal, and it was my first ever time doing sound for Tidal, and I was terrible at it. And we had a moment that got a botchamania chant because at one point, right, so I wasn't doing the fade in and out. The guy across from me was doing the fade in and out across the other side of the room.
Oh no.
So he'd had it turned down from the last entrance, and Ian Skinner, who's a wrestler, very good wrestler as well, currently Commonwealth champion at South Pro, is doing his entrance, and because it's quiet, I'm going to the other guy at the other end of the room, going, turn it up, and then he turns it up, and then Skinner goes, no, do it again. So Skinner goes downstairs again. I am just about able to see, but I can't see that well. So I can't see whether or not it's come back upstairs. So then I end up stopping the music after you press play again. And then he's like, what? Because his music stopped and he's at the top of the stairs.
Oh no.
So we ended up with a botchamania chant. I was like, oh no.
Oh God. Oh my gosh.
So like, keep me on crew.
At least you got one botchamania chant. Most people don't get any of that, but they don't want that too.
Sometimes any publicity is good publicity, and sometimes it's publicity that you're a bit preferably not.
Yeah, no, you don't want that. I used to get the botchamania chant all the time because I'd say the name and I would mess up the name, and the wrestler I had one time only. This wrestler for New Orleans made me do his intro 2 times because I messed up.
You say his name. If you say his name, he appears, you know.
What's that?
You say his name. If you say his name, he appears, you know.
I know. I wish it was Joe Henry. That'd be funny if I could just like add the video, have him just his picture pop up in the corner of the screen and just have him come.
Me and my mate are like, it's one of those things where you have to stand in the mirror and look stand in the mirror and look 3 times and go and then say his name 3 times, and that's how you get him to appear.
I made a whole joke. Because instead of Joe Henry and it says I believe in Joe Panther, say his name for the indie promotion and he appears. I believe in Joe Panther. Have me like.
I believe in Joe Panther.
He goes to PA, to New York, to California.
Lots of other places.
He's internationally known.
It's at Ringside.
Oh gosh, next year's intro. I do the old man thing. That's like. God, we're doing great. This is so much fun. Before we go, if you have any shows coming up that my fans, if they're over in the UK or over in the UK countries and they want to come to your show, how can they get tickets?
Oh, right. That's a good point. I better do the thing, hadn't I? Right. So, Skiddle for OT Off the Page tickets, we have a show on the 10th of August in Warrington. The next Tidal show there is on their website. All of these, just look on Twitter, because most of it's on Twitter. Look, search for Off the Page. Their next show is the 10th of August. Can't remember what time, but 10th of August in Warrington. And then we have Tidal. Our next show is on the 1st of September at the Huddersfield Parish. And then we have Soft Pro's next show is roundabout October. Look on Eventbrite for tickets for that. Soft Pro's next show should be around about the 20th of October, but we don't have a set date yet, but it should be, it's at least in October. As for me, you can catch me at Timeless Gaming Con, which I've been invited to as a creator on the 14th of August. You can catch me as a content creator at Format on the 26th of September. That's in Liverpool. And yeah, as for streaming, twitch.tv/Nemesis_Paradox, Twitter, Nemesis Paradox, and just basically everywhere is Nemesis Paradox. Just look for me.
Awesome. You're awesome. And I want to thank you so much. And definitely give her a follow on all her social medias. And if you haven't yet, tell them where they could find you on social media.
But hey, it's right. My Twitter, Nemesis Paradox. My Instagram, Nemesis Paradox. Facebook, Nemesis Paradox. And twitch.tv/Nemesis_Paradox. That should be all of them.
Awesome.
I am. TikTok as well, Nemesis Paradox.
Well, oh yeah, I forgot the TikTok. Or as my buddy Val would say, Tic Tac. The Tic Tac.
The Tic Tac.
And thank you so much for coming to the podcast. I'm Joe Panther the Third.
Thank you, everyone. I am Nemesis Paradox.
And we will catch you in the next one.